Hello everyone, Michelle here from the Creative Cove. Thanks for joining me today. I am filming late at night actually. It's pretty dark in the studio, so I do apologize for any shadows that are being casted with the cell phones and stuff. I wanted to doodle some artwork and I thought I would film it and share it with you. So I've framed off my watercolor paper with some washi tape here, and I've just put a wash of green on with my Mei paint set. No, I'm not sure. I think it is sap green, but you can use any green and any watercolor paints that you might have. And here I'm just watering down a solution and splattering it while it's wet so it kind of just dissolves a little, and then I'm going to let that dry. So here it is dried up. And now I'm going to use some Stays On ink with some field notes and specimen type stamps. I will link the stamp set below. I can't remember it off the top of my head. It is a Tim Holtz set, but it's really fun kind of specimen tags I want to make. But instead of using like pressed flowers or a photograph, I decided to use some watercolor paint and paint my own little specimens. So something a little different for me. I have used this technique many times before with creating these little thumbnails. If you are familiar with my channel, I just love creating these tiny little mini sketches and inserting them into a journal. These could be used as tags. This is more of a Christmas inspiration because I'm going to use some gold with it, and but I'm not using necessarily traditional leaves in these thumbnails. They're going to be just random plants. So I do have this on a fast forward setting so that it doesn't take too long to draw them, because I am going to paint every single section. And I'm just kind of painting some plants out of the top of my head. I'm going right through the original stamp. I tried it where I kind of stamped it and then painted the specimen above it, and it didn't feel as natural. So this time I'm going to put the specimen and the image right through the stamp and then stamp more on top after. And it's really just playing with paint here. And what I really love about these minis is I just use this small brush. I think it's a size 2, possibly 3. The label's gone on it and it's broken at the end, so I'm not 100% sure. It is a watercolor brush, however. It's a sable brush. And I just love to use it in the sense that I let the brush work do the work. I just literally push on the brush and let the tip open up and create these really nice floral forms. So I'm just going to do some random greenery. I'm going to keep it green. I'm not going to introduce any other color other than gold after. And I really like the end result of these. So this washi tape I used several times, in case you're wondering. This is a good watercolor pad. I can't remember. I've lost the cover to it because I actually used the backing for a journal cover. So the front cover came off, but it is a Fabrino and it is a cold press paper. I believe it's I'm gonna say maybe 120 pound, maybe 90 pound, but it's a good quality paper. I got it actually from a thrift shop in a full pad, and I was really excited. So you know me in thrift shops, I love a good bargain. Anyway, so I do have some decent quality material to work with when it comes to the watercolor, which does make a difference when you're getting more serious about it. It's nice to invest in some nice tools and some quality products. So I am just going to keep playing with greenery here. I kind of move all over, which is my first mistake. I really should start at one end and move from left to right so I don't have to keep elevating my arm so I don't dip it in the wet paint. But for some reason, a section will call to me and I'll just go straight over and start painting it. And I like these because they're not necessarily a Christmas traditional plant. You know, it's not just, I do a piece of holly and I do a sprig of pine, but it's not just Christmas stuff. It's, there's greenery, and I just want to kind of create these little tags and journal cards and inserts. These could be turned into gift tags, whatever you want to make with them. I want to kind of make them feel a little vintagey, but also have some kind of elegance to them with the gold paint. And this is a really fun, loose approach to painting. I think another reason I like doing these tiny little paintings is it's a lot less intimidating working in a small section like this as opposed to a big, huge sheet, especially in a medium like watercolor where it is not very forgiving. Once it's down, it's down. But watercolor also has some really beautiful character to it that you really can't achieve in other medium. It's just got some translucency and puddles really beautifully, and just when you think you've learned enough about watercolor, there's more to learn. And these little minis are a really good way to open up and experiment with watercolor, where it's, you don't have to keep them all as masterpieces. They're a learning curve. You're learning something every time you put paint down, or in this case, remove paint. So it's a lot of fun to experiment with these. So I'm making kind of like a little fern painting here. Again, not accurate by any means, just to imply a fern texture. And then after, we're going to put some gold on it. Ooh, I love the gold. Something about gold paint just screams Christmas and elegance to me. There's also a silver paint in this set. You can use any colors you like, of course. This is completely up to you. I am just using the one green with a variety of saturation. So some sections I have a lot of pigment, and in others it's very washed out. The background was also the same green, so you can see the huge range of tone that you can get by adding water and taking water away. This one is the holly, which it's a love-hate relationship with holly for me. I don't love painting it, but sometimes when I allow myself to really sit and enjoy the process, holly can be really fun to paint because it's got a lot of spikes and curves, and it's a shiny plant, so you can really play with light and reflection in these leaves. In this case, I'm really just kind of filling it in, and then I go back with a little bit more saturation of color for some shading. But holly is something I want to master, but it is taking me some time to achieve it because I'm a very impatient painter. And I think you really have to learn to take your time with watercolor and slow down. And that is challenging for me. But I think holly could be a really fun plant to paint simply because it is a shiny, shiny plant. So you can really play with the illusion of light reflection on this plant. So hopefully the shadow's not too bad for you guys. It was pretty bad at night here because I had no natural light in the room, so all the light was above me. So hopefully it isn't too distorting. This is the pine going in. Pine is super, super easy to paint in the sense that it's just brush control, moving the brush inward to the center of the stem, and then rotating your wrist and repeating that same stroke on the other side. So you can achieve it. It's one of the best and easiest plants to start with, I think. And then this one as well is just a random one out of my head. But it's a nice way to practice your brush control and get your brush to make the shape you're looking for. And again, the better quality the brush, the easier this is. If you're using a very rough old brush, you're not going to get nice, pristine, clean lines. So you do want to make sure you have the right tools for that. Yeah, I really like these little specimen cards, I guess you could call them. Okay, so we're gonna splatter this with a little bit more of that rich green. That I believe it's sap green. It could be olive green. But again, any green that you like. Maybe you like the bright Christmas green, you know. So here's the gold going in, and this is my favorite part. Well, my favorite part is pulling the tape off. That's always the best part. But putting this gold in is just, it just makes me happy. And I put it in, I was going to just do a few of them gold, but I just love it so much that I pretty much put it in everything. You can never have enough gold in a painting. I mean, let's be honest. So I'm just going to put a little bit of coating on top. And again, a range of saturation, very wet to very thick paint. And I'm not covering all the green. I don't want to go right over top of all the work I just did. I'm just going to put a pop of this gold on top of some of these green leaves. A little in the stem and kind of all over. So that one, my hand's hiding, sorry for that, but I'm just basically running some lines the same way I did the original green, but a little bit more sloppy on the pine. Of course, you can slow these videos down and paint with me. I just sped it up so that it's not ridiculously long, but you can adjust the speed. Just mute it so you don't hear me kind of drone on, and just mute it and paint along with me. That'd be great. I'd love for you to tag me on Instagram on any of my videos that you try. Here I'm just filling in some background. I want a little bit more contrast when I pull the tape off. And I think I add a little bit of green as well in a minute. Just some spots I found there is a little bit too light, and when I pull the tape off, I want to be able to see that crisp white line. So here I decide to put a little green. Sometimes it's hard to know when to walk away. That's probably one of my biggest challenges is, okay, Michelle, you are done. Put the paintbrush down. So I'm going to let this dry for a minute. It's not 100% dry when I come back, but it's dry enough that I can stamp again. So I'm going to use that stays on, and I'm going to use some more of these numbered stamps. I'm obsessed with numbers. There's just something, I don't know if it's vintage or charming or nostalgic or just a random texture of font that I really like. But I'm really enjoying this stamp collection. I've done a few videos with them now because they're brand new to me. I don't have a lot of stamps. So now I have these 2 sets that I've recently purchased from Tim Holtz, and I really love them. I've seen a lot of YouTubers use them, and I finally caved and went, I'm getting some. I want some of these. So each little thumbnail has its own little composition. So don't put the stamps in the exact same spot on every one. I kind of let them speak to me and let them tell me where I'm going to put the numbers. And then I put this, I believe it's here, I put the identification check. And then I thought, I'm just going to put it right across the plant, like it's been stamped in a library or something, or stamped in a lab. Just something different. Some I go straight across, some I go on an angle, some I push harder so they're a bit darker, and some are very light, like they're faded. And I decided it needed just something a little bit more, so I decided to put this little round one in. I wasn't sure where to put it yet. I didn't want to clutter them too much or put so much on there that the plant, the watercolor focal point gets lost. But as I tried this first one, I realized that this is just enough ink and it's not a thick, dark stamp. It's just a little indication, and it's got a circle in it, so it's kind of a little bit of organic added in along with the plant, which I kind of like. So here's my favorite part, where you just pull the tape off. And again, the washi tape's great for watercolor paper, especially a decent quality watercolor paper. It rarely ruins the paper, and that sometimes is worth it. Because I've made many mistakes with tape and watercolor paper that I have ruined my little thumbnails. So there they are with the little green I love them. They're so pretty. I think they're pretty anyways. I hope you like them. And now I'm just going to chop them up a little bit. You could also take a black pen to this, which is something I traditionally do. But in this case, the black ink, I think, is enough. And I think that they don't really need me to sketch any further on them. They're going to get a little bit too busy. So I'm just going to ink this up on the edge, kind of make it look a little bit old. And as I did that first one, I realized I only want the edges done. Normally I would bring the ink right in, but I really like the crisp whiteness around the thumbnails that we did, that I don't want to contaminate them with some ink. So I'm just going to vintage up the edge. And that's it. And this one I really like the bleed in there, how it kind of distorted and softened the edge of the plant. So again, another technique of puddling water and bleeding them and fading things in the background and putting things in the foreground. So much fun. And then I'm just going to throw them in my journal here. I got these really pretty gold corners from my scrapbook store in town, well, just the other town over from mine. And I saw them and I thought, yeah, I got to have those for Christmas. I'm going to treat myself. I've been treating myself a little too much, really. Stamps and photo corners and ink and stamping blocks that I've got recently, but I do love them. Just worth every penny. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope it gives you inspiration. I hope you just have some fun with your paints and you have a good old time experimenting with watercolor paper and make some really fun tags for yourself. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care.